Hare Krishna. Welcome to our program. Our speaker of the day is Shriman Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. He has done his master's degree from the prestigious Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. Prabhuji is a disciple of His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, who is a senior disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. He is also a member of ISKCON Examination Board and takes classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and Vaishnav etiquettes. He has written elaborate workbooks on Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita, with which the students can dive into intricacies of these great scriptures. He is a compiler of many other educational booklets and magazines, thus helping the seekers of Bhagavad knowledge. In all, he is a living encyclopedia of scriptures preaching the science all over the world, and who is exemplary and lives whatever he preaches. Come, let's hear him and try to imbibe the essence of scriptures as presented by him. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Today we will discuss about this important quality of non-enviousness. For all spiritual seekers, being non-envious is a very important quality. In this material world, so many people are filled with lot of envy towards each other, and that envy blocks one's spiritual progress. So one has to be very careful in eliminating this demon of envy which stays within the heart of every conditioned soul. To a small degree or great degree, most people in this world are envious. And this is a very subtle anartha that we cannot even detect that we are envious or we are proud. And in fact, for spiritual advancement, non-enviousness is a very important quality. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyam yanasuyave. He says, my dear Arjuna, I am revealing to you this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita because you are non-envious. Idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyami anasuyave. Asuya means envy, anasuyava means non-envious. So, I am going to reveal to you this most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita because you have no envy. And envy can be towards people in general, and envy can be towards God also. In fact, our envy towards God is reflected in our envy towards other people. And to understand Bhagavad Gita, one has to be non-envious, as Krishna says. And to understand Srimad Bhagavatam also, one has to be non-envious. Right in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, this sloka comes. Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam vastavamatra vastu shivadam tapatrayonmulanam Srimad Bhagavate mahamuni krite kimva parairishvaraha sadyo hrudi avarudhyatetra kritibhi susrushubhistakshanat. Dharma projita kaitavo atra paramo. Atra means in this literature, in Srimad Bhagavatam, all the materially motivated religions are kicked out. Generally, people may do dharma or religious activities to get artha, means money. And they may engage that money artha in kama, in sense enjoyment. And when they are frustrated in that kama or sense enjoyment, they may look forward for moksha or impersonal liberation or just liberation by merging into the existence of God. They may aspire like that. But this is not the way one has to practice dharma or religion. What our scriptures teach us is one has to practice dharma just to love God. The essence of dharma or paro dharma, the supreme duty of every living being is to perform bhakti unto Krishna in a selfless manner without any expectation in return. And this is what is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And that Bhagavatam, which glorifies selfless devotion unto God, Krishna, is understood by non-envious people. Right? Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedyam. Vedya means understandable by satam, pure-hearted devotees who are nirmatsaranam, who have no trace of envy in one's heart. So if to the degree we are non-envious, to that degree we can understand Srimad Bhagavatam and all the pastimes of Krishna and pastimes of various incarnations of the Supreme Lord described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Our understanding of scriptures, whether it is Gita or Bhagavatam, is directly proportionate to our quality of being non-envious towards other people. In fact, this envy exists only in this material world. Envy does not exist in the spiritual world. Spiritual world means there is Vaikuntha, where Lord Vishnu lives along with his eternal associates, and it is Goloka, Vrindavan, where Lord Krishna lives with Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj and so many Gopas and Gopis and cows. So this is the spiritual realm. So we are living in a material world where everything is temporary, and it's also filled with a lot of difficulties and miseries. But in the spiritual world, there is absolutely no envy, and everything that is there in the spiritual world is permanent, eternal, blissful. Birth, death, old age, disease exist only in this material world, and birth, death, old age, disease do not exist in the spiritual world, which is Vaikuntha or Goloka Vrindavan. So envy exists only in this material world, which is filled with many miseries and birth, death, old age, disease. But in the spiritual world, there is no envy and there is no other material negative qualities. Now, I'll just give few examples from the description of Vaikuntha in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 15th chapter, there is a description of the plants of Vaikuntha and the birds of Vaikuntha. Now, first we will see the description of the plants of Vaikuntha. Mandara kunda kurabot palachampakarna punnaga naga bakulam buja parijata gandher chite tulasika bharanena tasya yasmim stapaha sumanaso bahumanayanti. Mandara kunda kuraba utpala champaka arna punnaga naga bakula ambuja parijata. These are all the names of the flowers or the plants that exist in Vaikuntha. And there are no English equivalents to many of these names. So we just discuss these Sanskrit names only. Mandara, Kunda, Kuraba, Utpala, Champaka, Arna. So all these plants produce beautiful flowers which are very colorful, which have very beautiful shapes and multiple petals. Some are small, some are big, some are very fragrant, extremely fragrant. Can you just imagine a flower in Vaikuntha which always remains fresh? Even after the flower in Vaikuntha is plucked from the tree and you put it in a garland, and the garland also remains fresh forever. That's the nature of Vaikuntha flowers. But all these flowers, although they have very wonderful fragrances and colors and shapes and qualities, they all are non-envious. What is the proof? They encourage another important plant that wants to render service to Krishna. So in that shloka, it says, Gandherchite tulasika bharanena tasya yasmim stapaha sumanaso bahumanayanti. Tulasi, in comparison to all these colorful and fragrant flower-bearing plants, Tulasi is very simple. Tulasi has only green leaves, and even the small flowers that come out of Tulasi, Tulasi manjaris, they are also not very colorful. They are also greenish predominantly. But when Tulasi comes forward to serve Krishna, serve Vishnu, all these flowers will take a low profile. They just give way to Tulasi. Oh my dear Tulasi, you have done so many austerities to please the Lord. So please, you move ahead and you directly render service to Vishnu. We will take a low profile. Thus, all the plants of Vaikuntha give more preference and prominence to Tulasi than they take for themselves. Why? Because there is no envy in the hearts of these plants. Actually, in the Vaikuntha, whether it is a plant or a stone or a water body or a tree, anything is spiritual and they are all personalities, right? They also have feelings. They are all personalities directly rendering service to the Supreme Personality, Vishnu or Krishna. So they have feelings and they have no envy. So plants encourage Tulasi to directly serve Krishna. And what about the birds? Paravatanya bhrtasa rasa chakravaka datyuha hamsa sukati tiribarhinam yaha kolahalo viramate chiramatra muchair bhrangadhipe harikatham ivagaya mane. Paravatanya bhrta sarasa chakravaka datyuha hamsa sukha titiri barhi. These are all the names of the birds of Vaikuntha. Some names we can have in English also, like peacocks and parrots and swans and cranes. These are all mode of goodness birds, not crows and owls. They are very ignorant birds. But these birds that are living in Vaikuntha are very much in mode of goodness. They have beautiful forms, beautiful shapes. They are in different colors. They make such beautiful sounds, very sweet sounds they make. Can you just imagine the sweetness when a cuckoo bird sings and peacock sings and parrot makes some sounds? So all these birds are very beautiful. They are good looking and they are also making beautiful sounds. But all these birds have no envy towards each other. So much so that when a small bumblebee comes there making a sound zzz, like this, that is resembling Harikatha, that is resembling glorification of Krishna. All these birds will just give lot of encouragement to this bumblebee and allow this bumblebee to glorify Vishnu and Krishna, and then they take a low profile. Kola halo viramate chiramatra muchair. They give a break to their kolahal, to their singing, and chiramatra muchair, they just sing very softly, they take a low profile, and bhrangadhipe harikatham iva gayamani. This bhranga, this bumblebee comes and makes this sound zzz, that is resembling Harikatha. It is not even Harikatha. Harikatham iva. Iva means it seems like that, right? So even a bumblebee also gets encouragement in glorifying Krishna. So in singing the glories of Krishna, in fact all the Vaikuntha-vasis reside there being very enthusiastic to love Krishna, to serve Krishna and to glorify Krishna or Vishnu, right? But they do not have envy or competitive spirit amongst themselves. So even in Vaikuntha, sometimes there could be competition, but this competition is not filled with envy towards each other. So these Vaikuntha birds or Vaikuntha plants, they compete with each other only to improve the quality of other person's service and their own service, and never with any envious feelings. In this material world, because we have this scarcity mentality, there is envy. But in the spiritual world, everything is there in abundance. Every single devotee in Vaikuntha gets an opportunity to render service to Vishnu or Krishna to the best of one's ability. So why should one feel any insecurity? Why should one feel any scarcity in the opportunities to render service? Everybody is eager to render service to Krishna, and everybody will get an opportunity to render such service to Krishna. Thus, there is no envy in the spiritual world. If we want to go to Vaikuntha, leaving this miserable material world, we should also endeavor to develop this quality of being non-envious. One should not be envious of other people. Actually, when do we become envious of others? When others have something that we don't have. And not only that, when others have something that we want and we don't have it. Others may have 100 things, but we are not bothered about it. But if he has one thing that I also desire, then there is envy. Why he has it, or why she has it, why I don't have it. And such people, that inactive feeling of envy within may soon become an active action, and they may even develop some destructive tendencies, and their envy towards other people will make them commit such abominable sinful activities to pull down the other people of whom they are envious of. So, because of this scarcity mentality and insecurity, people may develop some destructive tendencies. There are so many stories in Srimad Bhagavatam. One story is that there is a king named Chitraketu. Chitraketu did not have a child. He married one wife. He did not have a child. He married 2 wives, no child. 3 wives, no child. 100 wives, no child. 1,000 wives, no child. 1 lakh wives, no child. Like that he married 1 crore times. He had 1 crore wives, but still Chitraketu did not have a child. So Chitraketu was extremely frustrated and disappointed in life. As a noble king, Chitraketu was very responsible in his ruling of the kingdom, and he wanted to give a very good king and successor for the next generation, for his citizens. So if my kingdom ends with my rulership only, and if I cannot give an able ruler or king or successor after me who can rule the citizens, what is the use of me being a king? Although I married 1 crore times, I could not produce a child. So that disappointment was causing excruciating pain to Chitraketu. So he was so morose, and one day Angiramani came to the kingdom of Chitraketu. He asked, "My dear Chitraketu, are you doing well? Are you happy? You seem to be very morose and you seem to be not very much satisfied. So, is there any problem in your mind? Are you facing some anxiety? Can you please reveal it to me?" Then Chitraketu very honestly said, "My dear Angiramuni, what is there for me to hide in front of you? You know the cause of my anxiety. Basically, the reason for my anxiety is I don't have a child. I don't have a son. So can you please help me? Can you please give me some boon or benediction, or show me some way by which I can get a child?" Then Angiramani said, "Okay, I'll conduct a sacrifice." And he conducted a sacrifice, and he gave that sacrificial result to Chitraketu. And Chitraketu gave that sacrificial result in the form of some sweet rice to his first wife named Kritadyuti. And Kritadyuti eventually became pregnant, and she gave birth to a son. And because the desire of Chitraketu was fulfilled after a long time, he was longing to have a son since long time, and he married 1 crore wives just for this reason. And Chitraketu finally got a son, so he spent a lot of his time with the son. And he naturally spent a lot of time with the son's mother, Kritadyuti, the first wife of Chitraketu. So when Chitraketu was giving a lot of attention to his first wife, Kritadyuti, and his newborn son, the remaining wives of Chitraketu, 99,99,999 wives of Chitraketu, they felt bad. Our husband is neglecting us. Just because this first wife gave birth to a son, he is giving all attention to this first wife only. He is not giving any attention to all of us. We are neglected wives. So they became so morose, and they became very envious. They developed destructive tendencies. You know what they did? They all went and poisoned this small baby, the newborn child. So he is the newborn child, and he cannot be envious of anyone. He cannot harm anyone, but such an innocent child is killed by these so many ladies, 99,99,999 wives conspired and then killed this small baby. And Kritadyuti came to know. Kritadyuti realized that the child died and she lamented. Now the story continues, but here in our context, the relevant part is because all these people, all these wives of Chitraketu, they became very envious of Kritadyuti's position of being a mother, and they are envious of the small child also who cannot cause any harm to people. So they just poisoned the child and killed the child. So when somebody is very envious envious towards other people, they develop destructive tendencies. They lose all their intelligence. So it's very natural for anyone who has common sense to understand that I should not cause any harm to the child. Even if the child is a little mischievous also, the elders just tolerate the child. But here is an infant baby who cannot cause any harm to anyone, but these ladies just kill the child out of sheer envy. So envy makes us lose our intelligence completely. Envy makes us develop a lot of destructive tendencies. So they just kill the child. This is a very heinous act of killing a small baby. So they lost all their luster. So envy makes people very less intelligent and they lose all their intelligence. There is another beautiful story in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prithu Maharaj, who is a great king of the earthly planet, he did very beautiful sacrifices. So he did sacrifices called Ashwamedha Yajnas or horse sacrifices, and he initiated the performance of 100 sacrifices, and he already reached 99 sacrifices. He completed 99 sacrifices and he was doing his 100th sacrifice. At that time, the king of heaven, Indra, came to that sacrifice, not as a guest, but as a thief. Not to participate in the sacrifice, but to destroy the sacrifice and interrupt the sacrifice. Why? Indra is called Shatakratu. Shatakratu means one who has the record of performing 100 sacrifices. So Indra is the only person who has the record of performing 100 sacrifices. No one could beat his record. And here is Prithu Maharaj, who has completed 99 sacrifices, and he was just about to break the record of Indra. Right? He is also getting to become Shatakratu. So that caused a lot of insecurity in the heart of Indra. And Indra just came in the form of a bogus sadhu, and he has stolen the sacrificial horse from the sacrificial arena of Prithu. He was doing Ashwamedha Yajna. Ashwa means horse. Yajna means sacrifice. He was doing Ashwamedha Yajna, and that Ashwa or horse is stolen by Indra. Why? Because he was envious. He was thinking that the position of being a Shatakratu should be only my privilege. No one else should take that position of being a Shatakratu. So that caused a lot of insecurity in his mind, and he has stolen the horse. Actually, sacrifice is meant to worship Krishna. It's a worship of Lord Vishnu. And sacrifice is actually meant for the prosperity of people in general. If Indra is interrupting the sacrifice, basically he is disrupting the protection or prosperity of citizens, and he is also interrupting the worship of Vishnu, which is a great offense. And Indra is aware also. It's not that Indra does not know, he is an innocent child, that he does not know that interrupting sacrifice is bad. He knows. Ignorance is not the cause of every mistake. Even knowingly also a person can commit a mistake. And Indra, out of envy, although he is knowledgeable that he should not interrupt any sacrifice, still Indra interrupted the sacrifice. It is all because of his sheer envy. So envy makes one lose all one's intelligence. And there are many other points about envy and the reason and the importance of cultivating non-enviousness that we will see in the next episode. Hare Krishna.
For more such devotional programs, Please watch Hare Krishna television. To get this channel, please contact your cable or DTH operator. For more information, please call 8767 845 845.